Hello, Steve White, Trek 89 for Steve Arts 89, Star Trek Gatekeeper. Now, we just got another Star Trek Strange New Worlds trailer. Now, I am a bit trailered out because I just did 9 character trailers last week, and deciding how many to do at a time and how many to review was a bit difficult. Some were good enough to have their own review, others really needed to be put with the others, and I saw this and I'm like, oh god, not another trailer, but this is good. This is a 4 minute and 55 seconds, I think. I'm not including the little introduction part which shows a few shots from the trailer and then the title and then goes into the actual trailer after about 5 seconds. This one we start with a shot of a city. It's the same one we saw from the first long trailer, and we have some politicians arguing, and Pike beams in and says, "Hi, sorry to interrupt." We see the Enterprise in the sky, kind of like Tomorrow's Yesterday, low in the atmosphere, and you actually see clouds passing over the source section. But you can't read NCC 1701 because the writing is in grey, and the colour of the ship is really grey with dark grey panels like gunmetal, and it just looks really dirty. I remember seeing pictures of it in space and thinking it looks really dark and dirty and you can't really see it. I thought it's just the lighting, but this is in daylight, so it really is too dark. It's kind of like the NX-01, but maybe even darker, so that's one thing I don't like. There are things I do like and things like I don't like. In this trailer, unlike the little 30-second trailers, we got a bit of a sense of the tone of I think what we're going to get in the series or the episodes, which of course is very important to portray. We see the Enterprise going to warp. We see Pike sitting down in his captain's chair and saying, "This is your captain. Our mission is to chart the stars, to push the boundaries of what is known and what is possible." And then we see a landing party beam down, and Uhura is like, "I'm standing on the surface of a comet." And then Pike whispering to number 1 saying, "I love this job." And we have La'an saying, "These people, this crew, I believe we can do anything." And Pike is saying, "So you want to seek out new life? Go where the aliens are." And then we have an alien on the screen saying, "Your presence here is blasphemy." And Pike is like, "Let's try and talk about this. We can find some common ground." And then the guy shuts off the conversation, and Pike's knocked off his feet as they start shooting. Before that, Ortega says, "I think that went well." And then we have Spock saying, "Perhaps we should kiss." He's betrothed is saying, "Perhaps we should kiss." And he's saying that seems logical. So we're going to see some romance with Spock here. And then we see the giant Fabergé egg again, which is what I said it looked like in the first trailer. And one of the crew men touches it and gets shocked with a bunch of yellow light and gets thrown across the room. And Uhura's like, maybe not touch anything else, just a suggestion. And we see Pike in his quarters saying to Spock, the whole future is in the balance. So whether that's because of the issue in this episode or whether he's talking about his knowledge of the future and his death, I'm not sure what that was about. Spock says, "No one can know the future. You can only follow your instincts." We see Pike saying to members of the crew, "You're the best in Starfleet." And most important line for me for the whole episode, whole trailer, was, "Our ability to work together, that's our greatest strength." And then they just have one sort of last line where he basically says to Ortega to show them what we've got so far as defending ourselves with the ship. Now, I'd love to put up some visuals or just some stills, but unfortunately CBS doesn't like people to criticise them. So if you're doing positive reviews, they'll allow you to use footage and video, but if you're not, they'll block your video, even though that's illegal because due to fair use we're allowed to, but since we don't have lawyers to fight them, we can't do it. So that's why I don't use any video or pictures or anything, because when I have, my videos have been taken down. So I'm just going to talk through a few of the images. So we see like the city with a lot of smoke and clouds. They probably have a pollution problem they're trying to resolve. The beam down looks good. The beaming effect looks good. Pike looks good. The ship in space looks good. It looks very much like today's Tomorrow's Yesterday. Like I said, the actual surface of the ship, though, is too grey and dark. You can't even read the writing on the hull. Now, the bridge consoles have gone over this before. They've got these strips of like neon fluoro lighting, and it works all around all the panels and the floor panels and the railings and all that, because it makes sure you can see them. So if the lights go off, you're not going to run into them. They're practical. But the ones on the consoles are just too bright. They're distracting. They're blinding. I don't know how the extras are going to sit and look at them all day. I don't like that. So there's some things I don't like, some things I do like. Like I said, the overall tone of the show and the overall look of the show and look at the other sets looks really good. But there's this couple little things I hope they change by the second season. I hope they get rid of those lights. I hope some extra like sues them for having their retinas burnt out or something after like a 7-hour day or something. So we see Pike and Spock on the bridge, and one of the interesting sets is like a recreation deck sort of lounge, and you see like a big long row of red couches and the white walls. Very nice contrast with the red and the white instead of the orange and the grey like they had on the original series, which, you know, was very 60s. They've changed it, but it's similar. It's got the same feel, but it looks better. And we see what I think is their version of 10 forward, above the 3 dots, three lights at the front of the ship, which people always thought were lights, but they're actually sensors. They've got 3 rows of 3 windows, which I thought were too narrow to really see through. I feel like they kind of sort of took away from that element. You see the stars coming towards them, they're at warp, and it looks amazing, so I'm happy about that. See the Enterprise at warp. We see the beam down on the asteroid. We see that the ship that we first see they walk into in the EV suits is on the comet. Pike and Una on the bridge. Una with her hair down looks amazing. Una with her hair up looks like a totally different person. And Una with her hair in the 60s bun is fascinating. We see the sick bay, and it's huge. It's 2 levels, and it's curved like the original, but curved in the other way. I'm surprised. It looks like they really built a big set here. And again, grey panels on the floor, white walls, white doors, white floor, red doors, sorry. Really looks, the contrast is nice. I really like the look of it. See them on a planet. It looks like they're walking around like a windmill farm or something. It's probably shot on location. But, you know, they do the best they can with the budget. We see Spock and whoever's challenging for his betrothed actually strike weapons. So we know he does fight. I thought maybe he would not take the challenge on. So I'm a bit worried that he's actually going to kill his competitor, and I don't want to see that happen for the character, so I'm not sure how they're going to resolve that issue, because it's supposed to be a fight to the death, my understanding is. We see the crew going on to the ship that, I don't know if it's the Constitution class ship that's crashed, or it must be because they've got the EVA head suits off, the top of their helmets off. So it must be they're going on to the crashed Constitution class. So we see that. We see some weird alien, not the one that they're trying to communicate with in the other trailer. We see this kid on the balcony of a mansion with a giant party. It looks like a wedding. It looks like an Indian wedding or something to me. I thought it was on Earth, but I guess it's on one of these planets that look, I don't know. We can see Pike down in the corner. We see some aliens on a desert planet looking up at the rain, like they've probably had some ecological problem fixed by the Federation, like they did in the first episode of Star Trek Discovery. We see Una and La'an seeing some giant metallic ornate sort of, looks like a ship, like a small ship floating towards them. It's probably on the same planet as the giant Fabergé egg looking thing. We see a smaller ship having light shone on it. Pike on the bridge again talking to the alien who cuts off the communications. We see Uhura with the little green sort of plastic hoop earrings and the Bluetooth device in her ear, looking more like Uhura but still looking like a tomboy and not feeling at all like the original Uhura, which I'm not happy about. I want my diva back. Uhura was a diva and this girl is no diva. Nothing wrong with her. She's beautiful, but she's just not the same, Uhura we're used to. See Pike talking to him. We see the ship when they actually cut off communications. It's got like a red dot in the center. It's interesting. It's unique. It reminds me a little bit like one from the remastered Star Trek that they did, which was a round ship. I'm not going to get into the design of that too much. I'll let Trekouts do that. I like Ortega. I like her line. That went well. We see the Enterprise being fired on, and in space it looks lighter than it does in the light, which is interesting. We see the ship getting hit. We see one of the earlier planet shots from the other trailer, which I thought was just some random alien planet, but now I look at it, it looks like Vulcan, and there's like a sea of sulfur that they're over. And then we have another shot which also looks like Vulcan, but there appears to be a planet in the background or a moon, and Vulcan has no moon, but yet in Star Trek The Motion Picture, before they remastered it, the original version, there was actually like a moon, and it was night. So is this another? Some people are saying it's not a moon; it's another planet. So does Vulcan have a nearby planet that she's seeing, or is she not on Vulcan because it's Spock's betrothed? It looks like Vulcan. We have him and her kissing on the cabin. We have a bunch of scenes which is really weird. It looks like the medical deck, the sick bay, or some deck on the Enterprise, and it's all covered in trees and bush, and there's like people dressed up in like medieval sort of fantasy outfits. I'm like, is this a fantasy? Is this a dream? Is this a holodeck? What is it? I hope they didn't just redress the sick bay and using it, because they did that in Discovery once where they redressed the transporter room. It was so obviously the transporter room painted black. It was really bad. I'm hoping it's just some sort of fantasy where it's sort of on the Enterprise, but it's a fantasy of another place, so they've just sort of used the Enterprise space in a way, which is fine. We see Pike at his daddy best, bedding some attractive young lady who I'm guessing is alien, and his hair is looking amazing. I really wanted to do my hair and try and do a little bit of a Pike thing, but I've got like 3 grey hairs, and I just realised how inadequate I was, so I just put my beanie on. We see another planet, which is all dark and has like these strips of light which look like cords which are lying around everywhere. It's interesting. It's hard to see those at night. It's probably the same planet as the giant Fabergé egg, which is what I'm calling it. The guy gets zapped by the yellow energy and shot across. We see number 1 is the one shooting the arrow, and we see her picking up her arrow. We see stars going past the windows in, I'm guessing, Pike's quarters, or maybe it's a bar, I'm not sure, but even though these windows are narrow, they're really using them, whereas Discovery never used their windows. They always just had light shining through them, backlit, and we never really saw them from an angle where you could see out them most of the time. So it looks like they're really using the sets. We see the mansion that the kid seems to be on the balcony of, some guards running, some people running through the halls of the Enterprise with the red strips in the ceiling, and it looks like, you know, battle damage and everything. We see the shot of Pike in the shuttle. We see Uhura with angel wings. Looks like she's in the same sort of fantasy or planet. I don't know what that is. Like I said, it looks like it's some sort of medieval fantasy or something. We see Pike getting interrogated by some aliens. A planet blowing up with La'an looking at it through the windows of a shuttle. Spock dodging a phaser on the bridge, leaning back and missing it. And the phasers, people are saying it's the same phaser as Discovery, just painted silver and grey. I think it looks a little different, but we won't really know till we see some stats about it. See someone getting disintegrated with a phaser. Pike talking to Uhura, Pike and Uhura, just regular shots of them. Then we get one last shot of an arrow being shot past Ortega at one of these guys dressed in this fantasy outfit. And again, it's number 1 shooting. See Spock, Pike, and another guy who kind of looks like McCoy and Uhura standing on the bridge like they're addressing someone on the view screen. Pike shooting. The Enterprise being shot at. Spock sleeping with his betrothed. The Enterprise facing this giant ship which looks more like a space station, and giving Ortega the order to basically, do her best in the battle. And then you see the Enterprise doing a barrel roll and getting fired at, and that is the end of the trailer. And I can't believe it took me 13 minutes to get through the whole thing. I didn't think it was going to take that long. If I could do this in 5 minutes, maybe 10. But it's a great trailer. There's a lot in it. It's as good as the first trailer we've got. We've got 2 real trailers, and then I think only 2, and then we've got the 9 little character trailers. So the thing that's most important to me is the tone. There is a very light comedic tone to this, and the fear is that it definitely has Akiva Goldsmith's, is it Goldsmith? Akiva Goldsman's fingers all over it. It doesn't feel like Alex Kurtzman production where it's dark and miserable, and there's a lot of trauma and emotion, and this feels like light and fun, but there is a danger of being too fun and going towards camp. But frankly, if I had to choose between grim and traumatized and fun and camp, I'd go with camp any day, just as a change from having like 4 years now of this depressing, cynical, nihilistic universe that Picard and Discovery live in. It'd be nice to actually see a fun, optimistic, light show. I just hope they don't take it to a camp level. I don't think they're going to. I think they're having fun with the characters. They're not making fun of the characters. They're having fun with the situations. And that humour can work in Star Trek. Once you start making fun of the actual characters, though, you ruin it. But if you're making fun of the situation and the characters are in on it and the audience, it can work, and it could be very well done, very clever. Because Goldsman has this reputation thanks to Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, because those are really camp compared to the earlier Burton versions, which are really dark. So if he's going to do that sort of tone with this, it could work much better than it did in The Dark Knight. But I can see a lot of people criticising it. But I am curious what's going to happen if this show is good. What are all the haters and racists and homophobes and misogynists who have been hating Discovery just for the sake of it, not for the real problems that it's got? What are they going to complain about if this show is good? I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. But we won't know for another month. I'm going to go. I'm not going to let this go past 15 minutes. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm feeling optimistic. I'm feeling the tone is good. As long as they don't go camp, I think this could actually be a good show. But we'll see.